Hey there, Hider Hoder. Hello there, my name's Adam. Welcome back to the channel, Kaputy Inc. Today's adventure, got my 01 F150 Lightning clone. We're gonna do a lowering kit, Lightning front bumper, get some new headlights for it, new grille, new lower grille section, and I got a little wing on the back, just a little ducktail spoiler thing I really like. And we're gonna try and clean up the rear bumper, get a little bit of rust off it. So let's get kicking. Here we are on the back, lowering. So you take and you use a grinder. You got to unbolt the entire spring, unbolt it from the U-bolts. It sends you new U-bolts because you can see that little aluminum wedge. I don't have anything tightened yet. I just have it kind of half-assed in there. You get a new shackle in the back. Trying to get my lighting right here to help you guys see. Pretty simple. Just unbolt that as long as the bolts come out. One was a pain in the ass, but we got her. And just salvage the bolts front. Same thing, unbolt everything, and then you take and you just cut the rivets out and hammer them out. I used a grinder and then an air chisel, air hammer or whatever to pop them out.
They use the upper holes, top 4 holes on each. The Belltech kit only has 4 holes. The 4 holes that are shiny on that one are the ones they use. You can see there's a significant drop there to get the drop in the back. So hopefully we don't get the Carolina squat, but hopefully we get it lowered enough where I'm happy with it, but it still rides decent.
What a vast improvement. Oh, it's just awesome. That kit's really not too bad to do. Pretty straightforward. The hardest part is you got a 20-year-old truck that's got bolts that might be seized inside some bushings. Other than that, I only had one issue with that. Was able to torch that out and actually salvage the bolt still because I'm like a fucking surgeon with an acetylene torch. So all that's left is I gotta do the bump stops and the drop shocks, and the top of the shocks are not cooperating, so I need to cut those out as well with my brain surgeon-like skill and precision with the torch, but I'm out of oxygen, so this makes it quite the task. So we'll get to that tomorrow. The front spindles, supposed to be a 2-inch drop spindle. Hopefully that gets me the drop I want. I'm pretty tempted while I have it apart to maybe try and cut part of a coil just to get it lower, but I guess you could always go back and do it again, but I don't want to have to do it again, so we'll see what happens. So. Alright, back of the truck's done. Sits pretty sweet. I like how it looks so far. The front, we got a 2-inch drop spindle. Hopefully that's enough. Typically I would replace the ball joints and do the wheel bearing and everything, but what I'm going to do is fit it and make sure it is what I like. Do I like how low it is? Does it need to get lowering springs, or maybe just cut a coil, like half a coil, to get a little bit more drop out of it or something? But seeing as I don't know what it's going to totally look like, we're just going to install this the way it is, run it a little bit, and if it is what it is and I like it, over the winter time I'll do ball joints and stuff like that. I'll replace all that, but for the time being we're just going to essentially drive it in a mock-up phase. So here's the front spindle. These things look pretty nice. Pretty beefy, as most spindles are. So, yeah. The instructions pretty simple and straightforward. Just remove the old spindle, put the new spindle in, put the hub assembly on there, tighten your brakes. You got to transfer over ABS wire or whatever. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Hopefully, we don't get hit in the face with a spring. I've got a jack stand to support the lower control arm, so that'll keep that in place. So I'll get to getting on that.
Here's a side-by-side comparison of the stock spindle to the drop spindle. This one has to be tipped back a little bit because that's the only way I can get it to sit up straight. I wasn't trying to put too much time into that, but you can see that the spindle itself would sit higher on this guy over here. It goes up, which then lowers the suspension, if you will, but you don't lose any spring rate or anything like that. You can also see that the tie rod end pickup here is lower on this one. It sits quite a bit higher on this one, and I'll be honest, I didn't read the instructions that great, but I didn't see anything about having to flip the tie rod over, but you do, because you can see here that that's a small hole. That's big. It's big on the bottom of this one, so you have to flip the tie rod over. So I recommend unloosening the tie rod while it's still bolted to this guy so that you can get the sleeve loose so you can give it a half turn. All right, here we have a full install. You can see how far this sits below. They give you a thinner nut and tell you to cut that stud if you have like an 18-inch wheel, because you have to run that minimum. I have 20s and they clear with plenty of room, so I just use the factory castle nut, same deal, instead of a lock washer. You have to flip the tie rod end because this gets moved up, so it allows it. I assume that helps with bump steer. You're not actually lowering the suspension of the truck or where this travels, it's just this point has been raised up. So to accommodate for that, they flip this and lower it down. Next, I'm putting in the drop shocks, which I've got installed on the other side. 2 bolts on the bottom, 1 bolt on the top. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. All right, here's how I mounted the front lower portion of the bumper. I got these 2 little pieces of flat stock that just drop down. They're like 7 inches or something like that. And they go to the top of the frame rail, 2 bolts, 3/8 bolt hold them in. And then they go down to a down bar. You can see these little white tabs here. Those go into some 3/8 washers and hold that splash guard or air diverter, whatever you call that thing back there. Get you a little better view under the truck. So yeah, it just comes down into the square bar over to this side with the other drop bracket that comes down. These are just 3/8 holes that are drilled in here, and then they use these same pop rivet deals or whatever, the plastic clips. Then here's the washers you can see that I welded, and then they just pop through on the back side. Front top view, I don't have anything holding this in. It's just lays against the bumper. I think what I'll maybe do is some sort of double-sided tape to hold that down, because I don't want to be drilling holes, because I'd have to drill a hole all the way back here, and that'd be pretty visible to put some sort of clip in, because yeah, that bumper overhangs. This is the Pro Urethane or something. I don't remember what it is. I'll try and find what it is on my eBay account. And then I got this Grille off eBay, which I like better than the factory one, but it's a cheapie. It just gets held on by 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and clips, and you're just supposed to clip it over your old Grille, and I didn't like the way that looks. So I just kept 1 stack of the milk crate or whatever, the look there, whatever you want to call it, 1 set of those, and I let it spread out down here, same top and bottom. If we can see it through there, not really good, but and then cut the center out. I thought that was a better look, and I think it is. I need to go ahead and take it apart, get this cleaned up, and paint that black too, but that'll all happen when the truck gets a paint job. As you can see, I got the new headlights in. They're like blacked out or deep dark tinted ones. Pretty jazzed about the look there once it has a full white bumper and she's slammed on the ground. It's gonna look pretty titties. That's going to do it for the latest round of modifications on my Lightning clone here. We got the Lightning bumper. It's got mounting right here. I built this bar for underneath here, so you can see that's pretty stout. There's no mounting up here. I think we're just going to do some sort of double-sided tape or something like that. We'll figure it out. I'll let a body man give me an opinion on it. Hey, let me know in the comments what you think I should do there without having to use an exposed fastener. We put the new Grille in, eBay special. They wanted you to just go right over the top of the honeycomb. I did not do that. I cut out, well, I did, but I only left 1 strip of honeycomb on each side. That'll all get blacked out, smoothed out at some point too. Got the new headlights. These are the really dark tinted, clear I guess, but they're just super tinted or whatever, blacked out. We got it lowered, so it's a Belltech 2.4 drop, spindles in the front, just a 2-inch drop spindle in the front. And then it uses a new hanger and shackle in the back, as well as this aluminum wedge. I do believe it's 6 degrees to correct your pinion angle. We did the Belltech drop shocks. It's got its own bump stops. The kit comes with new bump stops in the back. It also comes with some sort of emergency brake relocation kit. I didn't need that. It bolted right back onto where the old one was. I don't see the point in why you needed that. Maybe I'll find out catastrophically later. Watch for me on the news. So I'm pretty jazzed about it. I've already talked to a guy about painting the bumper, and I have a little ducktail spoiler for it that I'll have him paint at the same time. I was going to try and straighten the rear bumper, but after I looked at it, it's got more dents than I realized, and some of the rust spots are kind of big, and a new bumper's not that expensive, and it'll be fresh, smooth, so we'll go that route. So hope you enjoyed. If you did, and you want to see me doing more of my most excellent work, please subscribe. Feel free to comment, tell me I'm handsome, tell me I'm an idiot, tell me how wonderful this truck looks. See you on the next one.